With every horror fan, you will hear the legend of certain films that, oh, you gotta see this one. It's something you're gonna hear whenever you get into any genre, quite frankly. But in the horror genre, I swear, I would hear this phrase all the time. There was this guy that used to work at FYE, and when I was buying DVDs in the late 2000s, early 2010s, I would talk to him about horror films. I had just recently become a really big horror fan, and I remember all the time hearing him say, oh, dude, you gotta see this one. And whenever we talk about slasher films, that would come up so often. And I remember he said this in regards to a certain slasher movie called Sleepaway Camp. And it was your typical story that we're all familiar with. Oh, dude, wait till the ending. It's got the craziest ending. Of course, was somewhat of a spoiler when you think about it, because then I was expecting something crazy. Did it disappoint? No. And I love the original Sleepaway Camp. It wasn't until after that that I learned about the sequels. I don't even think I had a conversation with him about that film. But interestingly enough, he had a conversation with me. One of the last times I talked to this guy, I wish I remembered his name. This was well before I even did YouTube. This was 2009, 10. I remember him telling me, he goes, I thought we had a sequel. I thought we had Return to Sleepaway Camp. But I don't see it. Now, this was, like I said, 2009 or 10. I never thought anything about it afterward. Then we fast forward a couple years, and I have to give credit to Scream Factory. It might have just been their announcement where they said they were doing the Sleepaway Camp sequels. Now, this was Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3, which obviously are infamous for starring the great Pamela Springsteen. Funny side note, I actually had a viewer of the channel come on here, and he met Pamela Springsteen, got her to sign his DVDs, and he said she was lovely, and she had no problem talking about them or signing the DVDs. There's a video on my channel about that. But anyway, I watched those sequels. I loved them. To be honest with you, at the time, I loved them more than the original. Now, I think I love the original the most. Those were the sequels I thought he was talking about. Well, I remember watching something on TV in the horror world. I forgot what it was, and I think Felissa Rose was a part of it, and then she did talk about coming back to do a Sleepaway Camp film, and I was like, wait a minute. No, she didn't. That's Pamela Springsteen. What is she talking about? And I did a little bit of research, and then I found out that Darren Miller, the singer of CKY, who I have now interviewed, and he told his whole story about this on my channel as well, visited the set of a movie because he was a gigantic Sleepaway Camp fan. Well, the movie set he was going to was the movie Return to Sleepaway Camp. Now, this movie would elude me for so long, but in actuality, the worker at FYE was talking about this movie. Now, it had just come out on DVD probably a year and change prior to that, around 2008. He didn't have it. So when years go by, I never heard anything about it. I didn't think about it. But I'm watching this special feature or whatever, and all of a sudden, it's Darren Miller meeting Felissa Rose on the set of Return to Sleepaway Camp. Those two actually started dating and got married after that movie. Anyway, so I said to myself, okay, Return to Sleepaway Camp. I've got to see this movie. So I go to stream it at the time. This was probably 3 or 4 years ago. Of course, I couldn't find it anywhere on streaming. Whether it's streaming now remains to be seen. It might be. It probably be on one of those Plexes or Tubies if it is available. I happened to go online, go to Amazon. I'm like, son of a bitch. This was put up by Magnet. I mean, why was this not put up by Anchor Bay? It's like the Anchor Bay loved the Sleepaway Camp films. As you can see, they did the Survival Kit on DVD. Which has 1, 2, 3, and the Lost Sleepaway Camp 4, which they filmed some of it, which is all in here. The Survivor, but yeah, it's not like Anchor Bay isn't a Sleepaway Camp fan as a company were. They loved it. They put them out multiple times, separate releases, box sets, and Anchor Bay was a thing when Sleepaway Camp, Return to Sleepaway Camp was coming out. Why did they not put it out? That's a big mystery to me. Fate would have it that I would be able to own this movie. Now, as you can see, here it is. Return to Sleepaway Camp on DVD from Magnet. Now, how did I get this DVD? Now, I could say I just went on eBay and got it or whatever. This is what happened. As some of you know that watch my channel, I have a national video that's still open by me. It's hanging on by half of a thread. Long story short, the family owns the shopping complex. They don't have to pay rent. The only reason they can stay open. They have a section of Blu-rays and DVDs where you can buy. It's called the Buy It Now section. I go looking in this section, and I'm looking at the DVDs. Sure enough, I'm not even thinking about it. I go to the R's, and there it was. A brand new shrink-wrapped copy of Return to Sleepaway Camp. Now, this movie had definitely been on the shelf ready to be purchased since 2008. But what's really interesting is I looked on the back and I was like, okay, 2008 Magnet Home Video. The movie has a trademark of like 2003. That's interesting. I wondered why. Watching the movie, I figured out why this movie didn't get out on home video for 5 years after it came out. Return to Sleepaway Camp is one of the worst movies ever made. Now, some of you may say, Christian, that's facetious, that's over the top. But I think there's a lot of context that has to be in with this. It's not like, there's like cheap-ass horror movies that aren't worse than this, but this is a sleepaway camp film. And I'm talking about slasher films, I get that, but there's still a level of somewhat prestige when you talk about sleepaway camp, especially with the cult status of 2 and 3, even 4 to a certain extent, with just a little footage that they have. Return to Sleepaway Camp is just batshit insane. It is directed horribly, which is so interesting because it's the guy that did the first movie, Robert Hiltzik. No, he's coming back to make a new Sleepaway Camp, and when that got announced, I actually did a video, and I was just saying, guys, listen, this guy's 1-1. The first Sleepaway Camp, part of me does think he really got lucky and just happened to make a good film. Return to Sleepaway Camp, you won't believe how insane it is. There's a kid who runs around, has the worst dialogue ever. His acting is so piss poor. He yells, your ass stinks. The one saving grace about this is that the legend Isaac Hayes just happens to be in this movie. Here he is on the back. They prominently show Mr. Isaac Hayes on the back of this DVD. Now, this movie does feature some original cast members. Keep it spoiler-free. I won't say who, but you'll have to watch it to see. But let me just give you a small plot synopsis of this movie, Return to Sleepaway Camp. It's summer camp as usual at Camp Manabe, where the kids torment each other for fun while the underpaid camp staff provides as little supervision as possible. Greedy camp owner Frank and junior partner Ronnie to do their best to keep everyone in line. But something sinister is about to put a slash in the camp activity roster. When campers and staff mysteriously begin disappearing and turning into gruesome corpses, paranoid Ronnie can't shake the memory of a series of grisly murders that took place at Camp Arawak 2 decades earlier. That is Sleepaway Camp's plot synopsis, but it has this quality that is unlike anything I've ever seen. There's an energy to the unhinged nature, which in and of itself kind of makes this a unique film. But this is like, when I watched it, I really wanted to laugh and say, this is so bad it's good. And there is a part of me that I think does kind of feel that way. But boy, oh boy, would I be embarrassed if anybody just walked in on me watching this film. I would. It's just that batshit. Now, the funny thing with this is if you watch the special features, you will see Mr. Hiltzig at work, and he comes across as an erratic, drunk director. There's a behind-the-scenes thing of these kids all in the camp, like in the cafeteria log cabin, and he just gets behind the camera with the cinematographer, and he's like, all right, kids, scream, scream, go nuts! And the kids go crazy, and oh my God, it is, you have to see this. It is insane to think that this guy made this movie as well as the original Sleepaway Camp, which I gotta be honest, I do think that the original Sleepaway Camp is one of the better slasher films. It's definitely unique. The gore sequences, the kill sequences are great. The dialogue is actually hysterical, but you laugh with it, not at it. Return to Sleepaway Camp, you laugh at it, not with it. And I mean, you really laugh at it. Then you kind of wince in pain at moments. It's just one of the more interesting hiccups in the slasher genre, really. This DVD came, Magnet's still around, as far as I understand, and I have a ton of Magnet releases, and most of them are on Blu-ray. Return to Sleepaway Camp got a DVD release in 2008, and then nothing else after that. I have to imagine it has to do with Robert Hiltzik himself. I think he really tries to keep complete ownership of his movies. Maybe Magnet paid him what he wanted or released the film exactly the way he wanted. I'm sure Anchor Bay probably tried. Like I said, it's not like Anchor Bay didn't want to put out a Sleepaway Camp film. Maybe not this one. I don't know. I'd have to find that out. But yeah, I mean, this was it. Magnet put this out, and then after a year or so, the movie was just taken out of circulation. It's out of print. It's kind of somewhat sought after just because of the name alone. Return to Sleepaway Camp. Kids can be so mean. You gotta love that tagline. But here's the DVD. And it's funny because this movie's kind of forgotten in a sense. Like, people just don't really remember it. Return to Sleepaway Camp. The back, it features the art of what would look like those Paramount Friday the 13th DVDs, specifically Part 5. It's got that same color tone. It just looks very, very similar. The special features, it does have some behind-the-scenes interviews, behind-the-scenes photo galleries, and Return to Sleepaway Camp song performed by Goat and Friends. There is no scene selection insert, but there is the disc in there. What a funny, interesting footnote, guys. Return to Sleepaway Camp. I don't know if this film will ever get another release. It very well may not. I mean, with the release of the new one, the making of the new one, there's a chance there could be something like this. But my money says that Hiltzig might have a stranglehold on anything related to the first Sleepaway Camp and then this one, because his movies, he worked it out with Scream Factory to have one out in Blu-ray. Return to Sleepaway Camp, maybe he doesn't even want to put it back out. Who knows how he feels about it anymore? I don't know. But yeah, what a funny footnote. I do recommend looking out for this if you can get it cheap, because whether I think it's bad, good, bad, whatever, it is a footnote in horror history. Whether you like it or not, this is a Sleepaway Camp film, and I think it's important to catalog stuff like this, because why not? I mean, not everything can be pretty, right? So, yeah, Return to Sleepaway Camp, guys. Watch it with friends if you can. That's the way you'll get the most enjoyment out of it, because you can have a ball on a biscuit just laughing your ass off at it. And rest in peace to the great Isaac Hayes. What a music legend. So there it is, guys. One of horror's worst out-of-print DVDs, Return to Sleepaway Camp. Talk to you guys very, very soon. Huge, giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.